Good morning, everybody. So today is day 4 of our work on the Levine family. Today is going to be our last day reading about the Levine family. Today we are going to focus on the Levine family children. For our do now, we are going to be looking at an image of 2 of the Levine family children. Then we are going to watch a short video going inside New York's Tenement Museum and learning more about the exhibits that they can display. Students will be sharing details about tenements from the video, as well as writing a complete sentence about what a visitor to the museum might see. Then, students are going to jump into the text. As always, these texts provide numerous reading strategies that students could learn, and that can be applied to any text that comes in front of them in order for them to build up their reading skills, which can then be transferred to their content classes. There's a number of before, during, and reading strategies that can be used depending on the text. It's very helpful for students to notice text features such as titles, subtitles, as well as pictures or images. Students may also note vocabulary in the text as well. There's a number of discussion questions to help students make connections to the text, which makes the text more engaging for them and helps them to understand it better. As children themselves, there's going to be many topics that they are going to want to discuss when reading this text. For example, there's this discussion question here that I think many students would have a lot to respond to. It says, many older children helped watch their younger siblings and take care of the house. Many of our students have a lot of responsibilities at home, including watching younger siblings. So I think this would be an excellent time for students to be able to share out and make close connections to the text. After the reading, there's a number of other activities for students to work on and respond to. There's a photograph of a sweatshop or a factory where children are working. And in addition, this might be something that brings up some interesting discussions for the students. Finally, there's a number of closing activities that teachers can decide what works best for their students. But I think this is a good time to further engage the students and sort of hear from them and hear about their own connections that they make. Something very interesting that students may enjoy is this song by Woody Guthrie, "This Land is Your Land." And the chorus, as you know, goes, "This land is your land, it was made for you and me." And there's a video to go with it, and I think this would also be a very interesting conclusion for today's lesson. With that being said, now let's jump into the lesson. Can somebody please read today's essential question? Good. What are the life experiences of immigrants? Good. Can somebody please read today's first lesson objective? Good. To read closely, to draw conclusions from the text. Remember, we draw inferences and we can draw conclusions based on the information that's given to us, even if they don't tell it to us directly. Can somebody please read the second lesson objective? Good. To cite specific textual evidence when speaking and writing to support conclusions drawn from the text. Good. Whenever we make an inference or draw a conclusion, we always want to show our evidence for our reasoning. Good. Let's look for our warm-up today. This is an image, a picture of 2 of the Levine family children. Pauline Levine, age 17, and her brother Max Levine, age 13. This was taken in the year 1910, over 100 years ago. What do you see? What do you think? What do you wonder? You might say, in the image, I see a boy and a girl. You might say, in the image, I see two children. You might say, I think that it is an old picture. You might say, I think that the cameras were slow at the time. You might say, one thing I wonder is how long did it take to take the picture? Finally, you might say, one thing I wonder is what were their lives like? Good. Now we're going to watch a short video from New York City's Tenement Museum. You could click this link. It'll pop up to a YouTube video. You can see here. You can pause my video and show this video now. Following the video, students will share details about the tenements that they saw in the video, as well as write a complete sentence about what a visitor to the Tenement Museum might see. Some possible responses from students might include, you can learn more about immigrants. You can see what life was like for immigrants in New York City. You can see the apartments of immigrants. The apartments look like they did many years ago. Now you can click this link to jump into the text, the children. There's some discussion questions here, as well as guiding reading questions here that students could answer on either a separate Google Doc or using a wraparound strategy where students prepare their answers on their own and then share out together as a whole class. So again, this is an excellent text to encourage student discussion and will be the final day reading about the Levine family before our final project tomorrow. Now you can jump into the text. Enjoy.